All right, Shalom. I'd like to start up with saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Harakak Radash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostle, the great millstone. Double honors to our elder apostle as well, her one by Yasharala down in the Lions Den camp. Salutations to the Akim, the pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. I am Khalak on by Yasharala from the Lions of the Yasharala camp. This is another Lions Den news and prophecy. Lord willing, lessons edifying and serves the purpose for the hope of letting the ones who truly believe in the name Yahweh Shemel Shah. And this is like land backing off the one that the elder apostle Harawan did this morning, dealing with um the the tariff wars going on between Canada and the United States. All right. So, Canada was talking about cutting off the power supply to the northern states up there and you know, uh uh the northern United States, right? Maine, New York, places like that, Michigan. Um, and it's already starting to get cold up there, you know. But you know how we do. This is Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecies, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true." All right. Um, Hold on. Okay. Hmm. All right. There's a scripture I'm looking for. Um. That particular scripture is talking about what the Lord really gonna do to this place. Basically, He's gonna send the plague upon Egypt the second time, meaning America. All right. We can read further down in this, but there's a certain scripture I was looking for. But all right, let's go. It says, all right, verse second Ezra 15:2. It says, "And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speaketh against thee." So people gonna die in their disbelief and their unfaithfulness. You know, it says, "For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness." All right. It says, "Behold, saith the Lord, I will send plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." You see that? For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So it's almost time for us to get up out of here, man. So that's why the plagues that are the Lord's like sending plagues upon Egypt again, So let's get it. It says Trump declares national emergency over extraordinary threat in America's power grid. That is a big threat to black out, America like that. Like how the elders going into how when Egypt got blacked out, the darkness covered Egypt. And I lived in the country for the beginning parts of my life, and there's no street light. Okay, when I got like 8, there was a street light put in there, but I was back and forth from the city to my grandmother's house in the country, and literally like it's beautiful at night because there's no street light, so you can see the definition in the stars, and you know what I'm saying at night. But when you go inside the house, it's total darkness. You can't see your hand in front of your face. That's how dark it is. Your eyes have to adjust to the darkness, And you know, places in like New York where there's a lot of industrial activity and cars and emissions that goes on, there's an overcast at night, a thin overcast, and if you get the complete darkness, it's gonna look like that outside, like how it looks inside the house when you're living in the country. So imagine you standing outside, especially on something like a new moon where the moon don't give off any light. You won't be able to see your hand in front of your face outside, you know? It says President Donald Trump declares a national emergency Wednesday over foreign made equipment that the White House warned could be the nation's power system vulnerable, leave the nation's power system vulnerable to sabotage a catastrophic disruption. Trump signed an executive order aimed at protecting the security, integrity, and reliability of electric equipment used in the country's bulk power system, according to the White House. See, this is something separate. All right, it said the order blames an unusual and extraordinary foreign threat that the United States involving bulk power systems produced abroad that may present national security vulnerabilities. So not only would you have, and see, he's saying the grid itself, the power grid itself, if I'm not mistaken, is might be in danger of shutting down because of the equipment that's being used. So that's a double whammy. If so that blacks out all of America, not just what Canada was talking about. It says, among other things, Trump's order generally prohibits certain foreign produced bulk power system electric equipment, including associated critical software and digital capabilities that could pose cybersecurity and operational risk from being purchased or installed in the United States. According to the White House, the order targets transactions involving foreign nations that create an undue risk of sabotage, unauthorized access, or other disruptions. It also applies to equipment posing an undue risk of catastrophic effects on security and resilience. Ugh, let me get my glasses. I can't find them. Whatever. It says resiliency of the United States critical infrastructure or an unacceptable risk to the security of the U.S. So not only is it affect the power grid, it'll affect the whole system itself. It said that the administration said rapid growth in agricultural intelligence, advanced manufacturing, and defense production has increased the country's reliance on foreign electrical components. So what happens if they're saying they're not going to be able to get them? They're not going to be able to get them. It says federal officials have been directed by Trump's Wednesday emergency declaration to identify potentially dangerous equipment and make recommendations to prevent foreign actors from crippling critical infrastructure. Meaning saying they're gonna sell them some buffole, some bogus shit that'll cause it to sabotage the whole system. But it's too late now. It's too late. So not only do you have the situation with Canada, right, saying they will shut down the grid. Um, hold on, wait a minute. Let me find- But you also have um, the situation with the infrastructure of the power grid itself being with not using the correct equipment that should be used, or basically saying that because we're getting it mainly from people that we're taxing the hell out of with tariffs, they could give us messed up equipment to sabotage, destruct the infrastructure, which can very well be true. Hold on, find this. See if I can find this one real quick. Um, Isaiah 47, I think. Let me see. All right, this is Isaiah 47 and 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no longer be called tender and delicate." This place is going to be brought down to confusion, you know, and, and, you know, no longer be called tender like delicate, not no longer untouched, virgin daughter of Babylon. Hasn't been touched. So these plagues are in hot pursuit, right? The Lord's sending these plagues to this place, man. All right, it says real quick. Charge it up. All right, it says take millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. The Lord is gonna expose everything and strip everything in this place. You see that? Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, meaning gonna snatch off all the covering that America has is really the money. Once the Lord crashes the dollar, you know, you gonna see all the filthiness of America, everything. You know, the Lord's taking all the adorning that America had, He's stripping it off. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man." Like the Lord's not negotiating, and He ain't sparing none. That's it. It says, "As for our Redeemer, the Lord Yahweh, power of hosts." Yahweh is his name, the Holy One of Israel, right? "Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness." Now, that's talking about going into this place being brought low and being in a state of confusion, but um, um, and death, but you know everything has a spiritual value and a carnal value to it. Also, this place is going to be spiritually dark, which is spiritually dark now because like it's just straight wickedness. But you know what I'm saying? Lord ain't gonna allow America to be, you know, exalting themselves after he once was, bringing it down low into darkness and confusion. It says, "O daughter of the Chaldeans, thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms." See that? So all the plagues, the curses that were falling upon us are now being turned towards Esau, right? And that's gonna bring this place down. That's all being done from the inside out by Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. All right, it says, "I was wroth with my people, I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke." See that? Because it says, "Surely oppression will make a wise man mad." Because like the amount, because we were given unto him into his hands by the Lord, right? And he had this much power. Esau had this much power over us, right? They thought they were gonna sit in their seat forever. You know, they thought they were gonna sit in their seat forever. Matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get um Psalms 49 and 11. All right, it says their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever. And they're gonna be dark, and their dwelling places to all generations. They name their lands after their own names, and that's what they think. They think they're gonna continue this. That's why it says in Isaiah 47 that thou hast said, "I shall be a lady forever, and I shall not see widowhood." But then that's the thought process. That's why they move the way they move, right? Surely oppression will make a wise man mad. He became foolish with the amount of oppression that he's been putting on us. It says, verse 12 said, "Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beast that perishes." Like you know what I'm saying? That's exactly. There's no difference. You know. It said, "This is their folly, yet their prosperity approve their saying." Like they don't understand. Like the hurtful works. It said her wickedness has uh uh, uh exceeding great, like roughly paraphrasing. And they didn't, because of their prosperity, right? They felt like they're doing a good deed. Like, you know what I'm saying? All right, verse 14 it says they felt like what they were doing was good because it has to be good because they have the power. You know what I'm saying? Which it was delusional because it was given to them by Yahweh by Shem Shai. You can go into was it Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, I think. It said all power is given unto you by the Most High. You know, verse 14 it says, like sheep they are laid in the grave, death shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning. Right. So that's funny because it's dark, really dark right now. You see what I'm saying? And it's nighttime right now. We're waiting for you know, for the sun to rise over the horizon, which is going to be Yahweh Shai showing up the holy angels. You know, it says, and their beauty shall consume in their grave from their dwelling. See that? That beauty of Babylon being brought down to the grave. Let's get this. Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 and 9. It says, hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth that had raised up from their thrones the kings of the nations. See that? The place is being brought down, and these nations are going to devour this place, man. This place is being brought to darkness. You know, it says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. See that? And the noise of thy bowels, the worms is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. That, and what do worms do? They eat away at stuff. You know, decay. All right. Right. This is back at Psalms 49 and 14. It says, like sheep they are laid in the grave. Death shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning. That's what we're waiting on. It says, and their beauty shall become in the grave from their dwelling. But Yahweh will redeem my soul from the power of the grave, for he shall receive me. See that? So 2/3 of our people are going to fall upon that curse too. All right. Let's go back to Isaiah 47 and 6. It says, I was wroth with my people. I polluted mine inheritance and given them unto thine hand. And thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient, hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou hast said, I shall be a lady forever. Right. It says, so thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Right. So that goes back into verse 12 of Psalms 49. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beast that perisheth. Their way is their folly, yet their prosperity approve their saying. See that? So, because this place thought it was going to be a lady forever. They thought they were going to be on that high seat forever, but the Lord's bringing them down into darkness, into the dust, a state of confusion, man. All right, and it's happening in all types of ways. You have the the materials, the supplies being used for the infrastructure of the power system. Part of the power system being controlled by Canada. You know, there's all types of plays coming towards this place, man. It's all being sent by Yahweh by Shemal Shai. All right, Lord willing, bless and edify and serve this purpose for the hope of the elect, the one who truly believe in the name Yahweh by Shemal Shai. With that, I'd like to say, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem, Harakak Wadash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone, and double honors to our elder apostle as well, Ahara one, Banyasha, all down here in the Lions Den camp. Salutations to the Arkin that are pushing the truth, sincerity, truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh by Shemal Shai. Shalom.